Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. So, Tyson Fury, Usyk, Frank Warren, ESPN Top Rank, the Saudis, and everyone else involved, right, with the Fury-Usyk fight. Tyson Fury wants $500 million. There are several different countries, from my understanding, that's, kind of bidding for the fight. But Tyson Fury is saying he wants 500 million pounds. And right now it seems like it's an issue getting that kind of money for Tyson Fury. But it's not that these countries can't afford it. It's I think this is what happens when you get into a situation where people the guys who want to host the fight, they don't want to pay that kind of money. Of course, if they can get it cheaper, they will. It's just business 101, okay? You never go that high. But with Tyson Fury, I don't know what he's going to do. But my understanding is there is a country, Saudi, who's on the cusp of wanting to say, okay, we'll give you the 500 million. But Tyson Fury wants it guaranteed. He wants to see have it transferred to an account to see that the money's there, the money's safe, and basically it's in his name. But this is the issue with that, right? 500 million pounds. Does Tyson Fury deserve that kind of money? Now, it's one thing to get 500 million pounds and have it split 50-50 between him and Usyk. We know for a fact he and Usyk both are going to make over 100 million pounds. Like, this is going to happen, okay? But to think 500 million just to Tyson Fury, that's 500 million pounds is 589,688,007 US dollars. It's a lot of money. But does Tyson Fury deserve it? Do you think Tyson Fury has done enough to deserve it? Okay. Now, there are some. Now, this is how crazy. This is how crazy it is, right? Tyson Fury is putting out an astronomical number. Now, he's saying Floyd Mayweather made $400 million when he fought Pacquiao. Okay? People, Floyd Mayweather did make about $400 million when he fought Pacquiao. That is a fact. Pacquiao made 60 million or something like that. 130 million. This is a fact. So Fury's like, if Mayweather made that kind of money, I'm the heavyweight champion, 4-belt era, where heavyweights are the big boys, a more prestigious weight class. I deserve more money than what Mayweather made. You know what? Tyson Fury could have a point if he had factored in, which he didn't say in his statement, so I'm not sure if he's aware of this or not, that Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao have 4.4 million pay-per-view buys. That's how Floyd and Pacquiao were able to make the kind of money they made. Okay? So the pay-per-view sales. Now, let's just we got to be honest with ourselves here, okay? We can't be so delusional. We as boxing fans, excuse me, I think I got another one coming. Got to get all that bad air out, man. But we as boxing fans, we can sit here and say, man, Fury should make 500 million pounds. Usyk should make 200 million pounds. The Saudis got that money. They were going to offer somebody, I can't remember what it was, someone's going to get $1 billion. But the Saudis have the money. Over there in the Middle East, they have the money. They can get them at $2 billion if they want. That's nothing to them. But why? Okay? But the dance partner that Tyson Fury has, Tyson Fury, he wants 500 million pounds, but he's calling Usyk an unknown. He's calling him a foreigner. He's saying that, this is a guy who, like Khabib in the UFC, was a nobody before he fought Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor didn't get paid the kind of fight purse he deserved to turn a nobody into a somebody. I'm not going to make that mistake. If you want me to turn this nobody Usyk into a somebody off of my name when I'm here, retired and happy, you got to pay me. Does he make a valid point with that? If Tyson Fury beats Usyk, what does that do for Tyson Fury and his legacy? Now, if Usyk beats Tyson Fury, what does that do for his legacy? For Usyk's legacy? There's a whole lot, there's a lot more reward for Usyk clipping Fury than for Fury clipping Usyk. And Fury is aware of that. So Fury wants to get paid. But you got to understand, you're not going to, it's not that easy to just get these countries to put up that kind of money, even if they can. These aren't people who just want to sit here, man, and just be irresponsible and just give you money because you want it. Yes, they want to host the event, but I'm not saying it won't happen, but I think he may get pretty close to this. There may be a little sweet spot there. But Tyson Fury is, this man's just yo-yoing the public, man. I'm out of retirement. I'm not out of retirement. If you want me to fight him, give me $500 million. Now they sat there and gave him an ultimatum. If you don't do it by this time and date, nice knowing you. I'm out of here in the breeze, kind of like myself, But when I look at it, I think fighters should make as much money as possible. Okay. But Floyd Mayweather and Tyson Fury, can we even? Should they even be on the same plane? Right? I don't think so. I think there are different planes here in boxing. And Floyd Mayweather is here. Tyson Fury isn't there. What has Tyson Fury done as far as pay-per-view sales that would even make him think he's deserving of that kind of money? We know the fights with Wilder. Okay, those were amazing fights. Tyson Fury is definitely worthy of a $100 million payday, especially if they're going to Saudi, because the Saudis will no issue giving that money. AJ made over $100 million. Usyk made 66 million. This is pounds now. Now, if they go out there for that undisputed clash, and it's 50-50 is my understanding, and that's what they agreed to, I can see both of them making, and then you got pay-per-view and factor all that in, those guys could make about 200 million apiece. But to just want a guarantee of 500 million pounds, then the pay-per-view and everything else on top of that, this man's looking to try, Tyson Fury trying to cash out a $1 billion payday. So the other question is, the other thing is, people are saying Tyson Fury is scared to fight Usyk because he's pricing himself out. I don't think he's pricing himself out. I think he's playing the game, and that's what he's supposed to do. Okay, it's kind of like what Terrence Crawford is doing with Earl Spence. Terrence Crawford and Bomac have gone on record, right? They've gone on record and said, look, we want 50-50. If Spence wants this last belt, they got to give us 50% of everything. Other than that, we're not signing. That's why we're here in this kind of suspended state while we're all waiting, and it's like we're waiting for your computer, man, to finally wake up. Is because Crawford and those guys are playing hardball. Spence just announced something like, I'm only worried about myself now. So it sounds like he's become discouraged, and we can look into things and make assumptions about what they're saying or how they feel. But it looks like maybe Spence may be moving along. Because to be honest with you, by this point, hell, Spence could have fought already, again. Crawford should have fought a long time ago. But he's trying to hold out to see if he can get what he wants. But Crawford could end up in a situation like Amir Khan waiting around for that damn Mayweather fight. It just may not happen. So I think with Tyson Fury is one of those situations too. You want this last belt. I could care less about any of it. I've had every belt. I don't care about the undisputed distinction. Would have been nice. He talked about fighting Derek Chisora for $2 million, but Derek Chisora wanted $3 million. Tyson Fury is like, get out of here. I think with Tyson Fury, he's going to fight Chisora as just like a stay active kind of fight. And he would have easily beat him, made some money, and then was looking to go into the fight with Usyk and AJ. But now that all that's kind of unraveled, and now you see, Usyk is demanding to fight, I don't think Tyson Fury is afraid of him at all. I think Tyson Fury beats him easily. But I think Tyson Fury, his thing is, I'm retired. My wife doesn't want me to fight. And if you guys really want this WBC belt for the undisputed distinction, because Usyk wants to make history of being the cruiserweight champion and the undisputed heavyweight champion. He wants to be in the history books as a guy who accomplished that. And Tyson Fury knows that. And he's like, I better figure it out. If you want me to, man, I put the comment in the wrong place. If you want me to come out here and fight, right? Tyson Fury's not playing around with these guys, but I don't think he deserves that kind of money. You look at the kind of, and the other thing is when you look at guys like Mike Tyson, the Sugar Ray Leonards, Floyd Mayweather, De La Hoya, these guys made a lot of money off of pay-per-view. They didn't make a lot of money off of guarantees. Well, it's still a lot, but not the kind of money they made when you add in the pay-per-view revenues and ticket sale, live gate. But Tyson Fury, man, I think people are kind of getting tired now of his antics, and not just the British public. I think, just across the world, it's like enough with the shenanigans, enough with the insulting people, enough with the profanity-laced, tirades. Like, let's get it together, Fury. Either you're retired and disappear, or you're gonna go ahead and make the fight. Look, $200 million a piece is not bad. But, he's pressing for that big money. But it is what it is, man. He comes out once and says how he's happily retired. He's got wealth beyond his imagination. We get it. He said he's not coming back for legacy. He's for him with this fight, it's strictly money. And he's letting them know he doesn't care. As far as his legacy, it's already cemented. But if you want me to come out here and beat a nobody, and give him an opportunity to create his own legacy and use my name as a springboard to that, well, then you have to pay me. And in a sense, Tyson Fury is right. He deserves to be paid for the opportunities that he's given Usyk. Although it's just for that one belt. It's the fact that if he can clip Tyson Fury, that definitely puts Usyk, to me, in that conversation about being maybe the pound for pound best heavyweight. Now, Usyk's from a different generation, so we got to keep that in mind too. Usyk is like the next wave. Tyson Fury is on his way out. So Usyk can carry things on another 6 or 7 years as far as the heavyweight division in boxing. But I don't know, it's a little frustrating. You look at Deontay Wilder and the kind of money he's making, $40 million when you look at the pay-per-view and stuff like that, $15 million guarantees. The fact that these guys are over there fighting in Saudi, are going to go to Qatar, or wherever the hell they're going to go in the Middle East, and making $200 million, I mean, that's a lot of money. Nobody's making money like that in boxing. I'm just trying to think, what has Tyson Fury done? He clipped Klitschko. He beat Chisora, beat White, beat Wilder. I think his name's Otto Wall, and he beat him. He had some tough fights, but Tyson Fury's toughest fight was against I think it was a cruiserweight or a light heavyweight. I mean a heavyweight who was lighter than I think like 220 pounds. That's the guy who knocked Tyson Fury down. Like he almost got him out. Tyson Fury came back to knock him out. Can't remember the guy's name. But Tyson Fury was having a tough time in that fight. But this isn't the same Tyson Fury. So Tyson Fury has gone on record to say that was his toughest fight, is fighting a guy who he was considering him as a cruiserweight, and saying that was an extremely difficult fight. So some people are saying because of him struggling with someone who was lighter in weight, that he's concerned about getting in the ring with a guy like Usyk and Usyk's non-stop movement. And Usyk, he doesn't have enough. He doesn't really have a whole lot of power, but he's got enough to sting you. He's got enough to get your attention, but he doesn't have that concussive power like a Wilder or even Tyson Fury now. He has his concussive power. But I don't know. I definitely don't think Tyson Fury is worried. I don't think Tyson Fury will be defeated. I don't even think Usyk can hurt Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury is too big, too much reach. But at the same time, I'm not sure if Tyson Fury deserves a $500 million payday. Okay? And for that reason, it's hard for me to say Tyson Fury is serious about continuing boxing. But the WBC is still kind of over here hanging on, waiting to see what Tyson Fury is going to do. I don't know why they just don't take the belt from him. But the WBC is all about money. They want money. They want to get paid. And they want make the most money they possibly can. But at some point, they gotta take a look at what's going on and make a decision. And let some of these guys fight for that belt so we can get guys in the ring to actually fight for this undisputed distinction. Now, Usyk, I'm not sure what Usyk is going to do going forward. If he can't get a chance at an undisputed distinction, Usyk already said, he's not going to fight no more. Now, could you imagine if Usyk let all those belts go? Man, the whole heavyweight division will be turned upside down. It will be turned upside down. But then maybe we'll get some of the fights that we want. But right now, man, that's the latest and greatest when it comes to Tyson Fury. He just feels like with the kind of work that he's done, as far as those fights with Wilder, he feels like that outweighs everything that AJ has done. It outweighs everything Usyk has done, and he feels like it outweighs everything that any other heavyweight boxer has done of this era. He feels like no one in the world. He's like, although AJ has fought some good names, he's like, he hasn't fought Wilder, and not 3 fights with Wilder. And he feels that AJ was never in a fight with someone who could really knock him out, hurt him, the way Wilder is a threat. And he said those are things that people have to take into consideration when it comes to him, and as far as what his true value is, as far as the risk that he's taken 3 times back to back. And again, Tyson Fury makes a valid point. I really think he makes a valid point, but I'm not really sure he deserves. I think all fighters should make as much money as possible, but when you're throwing out a number like 500 million, the Saudis have it. Some of those different countries in the Middle East, they have it. They can give it, but I'm just not sure that he deserves that kind of money, because it's almost like just an unrealistic figure. Not that they can't give it to him, but for him to think he's just going to go in and get that, and to not factor in the pay-per-view sales. It really does make you wonder if he really even wants to fight. But we'll see. I'm going to sit back and just sit back and see how this plays out. Frank Warren is talking. He seems to be pretty optimistic that they're going to get the money that Fury's asking for. It seems like everything for the most part has been kind of ironed out as far as the split. Right now it's just deciding the highest bidder who's going to give them the most money. And the one thing in particular they want to make sure they get for Fury is that $500 million. If somebody guarantees that and can show that in an escrow account, and make sure everything is there, right? Tyson Fury is going to move forward, and we're going to see what happens, because he doesn't have much longer to make a decision on what he's going to do. But we know the WBC, they don't even matter. They're gonna play right along with this. They're not taking no damn belt from Tyson Fury. And when you think about Tyson Fury setting an ultimatum, I mean, hey, we'll see. I'll believe it when he gives up that WBC belt. But if he does that, things get interesting real quick, because the man has enough money. Wife doesn't want him to fight. He's out there, looks to be happy. But some people need boxing, man, to just walk away from it, that kind of money, that undisputed distinction. He's never had that. But if he does, I'll commend him, because he's sticking to his guns. But we will see. But he can't fight in the States, okay? So there was someone even saying, why don't he just come to Las Vegas? Tyson Fury can't come to the States. He's got to do it overseas somewhere. You do it in England, that time of the year, the wintertime. It's first, that kind of money's not there for him. 2, it's cold as hell. It had to be somewhere out in the Middle East, and they were talking about doing it later this year, and then next year a rematch during the wintertime. So we'll see what happens, man. I think I'm going to leave it as that. But I don't know. Oh, the other thing I was going to tell you. Someone else is saying he's asking for that kind of money. And it's, they're saying for Kinahan. Something about him associated with Kinahan and trying to get a huge payday like that, and then somehow getting that money from overseas, not having to pay so many taxes on it, and finding a way to wash some of that dirty money because of obligations to the Irish mob. That shit sounds far-fetched to me, but there were several people who posted comments, and they posted these articles and this big long spiel about how that 500 million pounds, that demand, if he gets it, how somehow the Irish mob and Kinahan's people are attached to that. Now I'll say this, right? Maybe in the past, maybe there was some kind of foul play Tyson Fury may have entertained. I'm not saying he's done it. I'm just saying maybe in the past, right? He may have entertained a way to have somebody do him some favors and put another few million in his fight purse. But with the climate being the way it is and how many people have suffered from his family, I'm talking about traveling and the different things, the stress from all this Kinahan association crap, right? From his family, from his friends, from guys who are over there on MTK Global. You're talking about hundreds of people were affected, right? It would be foolish for Tyson Fury to push the envelope and to even have any association with this Kinahan guy or anyone associated with him. I think Tyson Fury is smart enough to be like, got a tap on the hand, I'm not doing that again. Let me just sit back, let the dust settle, and once it does, dodge the bullet and press and go on about his business. I don't see Tyson Fury being foolish enough to play around with this Kinahan guy. We know that guy Kinahan, and no one knows where he is. Word is he's out there in Dubai. Word is Dubai may be a place that's looking to bring Fury over there. Word is Kinahan has some serious ties to people in Dubai and has connections, and he can make sure that they get that kind of money. That's just the word. But the thing is, it's going to be a serious kickback to Kinahan because Kinahan needs money now because he's in hiding. These are those damn detectives out there who are, trying to find clues and close cases and cross-examine everybody. Sounds to me like a bunch of crap if you ask me, but I guess anything's possible. But if it ends up in Dubai, man, hey, that just gives us a little bit more stuff to talk about, right? But that being said, I think I'm going to leave it as that. Tyson Fury and this 500 million pounds. If he does get that kind of money, it does make you wonder. It'll make me wonder. And if I was the feds or someone over here in the States, I sure as hell be wondering how the hell this man was able to come up, coordinate 500 million pound payday out there in the Middle East, where we know that this guy Kinahan has some strong ties and has a strong influence and presence. But I just don't think Tyson Fury is that stupid when he's set for generations to go out there and chase around that kind of money. But we'll see, man. That being said, like and subscribe if you enjoyed the channel. Shout out to everybody who supports the channel, man. I really appreciate it. Y'all keep cool. More to come on this Fury. Fury and Usyk and his $500 million pound payday. But at the end of the day, if Tyson Fury can do 4.5 million 5 million pay-per-view buys, because Floyd and Pacquiao did like 4.4. If he can do 5, he should easily make 500 million. But who the hell is doing, him and Usyk not even doing, 40,000 pay-per-view buys. So, good luck with that. But as always, y'all keep cool, and I'm in the breeze.